Thanks so much for coming in and playing for us, Adam. I've got a confession. I've got to admit something to you. You ruined Idol for me, but in a good way. Because since you were on Idol, there's been nobody that's performed at the level that you have.
Oh, thank
and
you.
I have honestly compared everybody who's come on the show.
I thought Haley was pretty cool.
Haley was good.
And I heard her new material is supposed to be really good, too. Just saying. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. That's very sweet. Thank you.
Well, you had minimal time after Idol to get the first record out, and you've had a little more time with Trespassing, which we'll get to in just a second about the release date. But what do you think's different from an artist perspective with the time that you've had for this record as opposed to the first one and, just mad chaos after the show?
Well, I mean, it was so quick. The first album was literally recorded in about 2 months. And I was on the stadium tour at the same time. So it was like I was just trying to breathe and get some sleep. It was challenging, but also it was kind of cool because it had a lot of momentum and not a lot of time to think things through, which was kind of hit or miss, There's certain songs in the album I think were out of the park. Certain ones I'm like, okay, those are good. But this album I feel like I've had over a year to work on. I'm executive producing it, so I'm really in the driver's seat creatively.
Great.
There's a couple songs I didn't write, but they're on the album because I believe in them so much. So it's really an album where every song is stating something true and honest, whether it's upbeat and fun or a little bit darker and sad. It's very real to my life. And what I'm hoping is that at the center of each song, even though it's about me, it's something that I think everybody goes through on some level. So there's something very universal about the album. No matter who you are, I think you'll be able to kind of find yourself in it.
And we're all anxious to hear it. So March 20th was the original date it was slated for.
Yeah.
Do we have an actual date?
It's in the month of April, which, I'll be putting maple syrup all over your springtime playlist, there was a couple songs last minute that kind of came through that the couple that I wrote that I wanted to finish up and kind of look at, and another song that actually Bruno Mars wrote that came through that's really great. He's amazing. Such a cool guy. So I'm just trying to put the best songs on the album and make sure that that's a kick-ass album. So, yeah. So
I think
April.
April. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of us in the room, I remember the first time I saw you on Idol, literally thinking to myself, he's the one. This is the guy. I mean, early on. And, looking at the whole journey, what do you think's changed the most? What do you think is most surprising to you since you've had fame and everything that's happened since your first debut on Idol?
It's a tall drink of water kind of a question there. A lot. I mean, a lot's changed, And one thing that's actually really exciting is that I don't get quite as nervous as I used to. I'm a little more comfortable with the whole deal. I mean, I sometimes still get that burst of adrenaline. If there's a camera for like a TV show, that makes me a little extra nervous. But I like being a little more comfortable. Like I've gotten to know you guys, my fans. I feel like I'm coming home to like a family kind of situation when I do shows and when I do performances, which feels really comfortable. And I feel like the fans have my back. I feel more secure in the whole journey than I did before. And like with this album, I think the album reflects that. The material is a little more experimental. It's kind of taking a couple risks, but also playing into the strengths that you guys have helped me figure out. So
very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we've heard Queen yes, Queen no, Queen in July.
Queen yes.
Okay.
But it's Queen for like 2 nights.
So Queen for 2 nights.
I mean, I'm a queen always, but no, it's a special guest appearance, and I'm so honored and excited and a little bit nervous, and definitely know that there's a lot of work ahead. But I think it's going to be so much fun.
That'll be awesome.
Oh my gosh, Queen!
Yeah.
My manager called me. He's like, "Is this something you'd be interested in?" And I was like,
"Did you really just call and ask me that?"
Yeah, really? Of course. Yeah. So,
what do you like to do away from music? What do you enjoy? TV shows?
I'm kind of boring when it comes to like. I realized this about myself this year. As I'm like, when did I get so boring? I think my stage time is kind of my place to be outrageous these days. At home, I'm very domestic these days. I like to watch movies, cook food, juice. I make juice. Go on like a walk around the neighborhood occasionally. Go out to see movies, go out to dinner from time to time, but it's like, pretty normal.
Okay.
I mean, and that's kind of my goal, is to try to keep things as normal as possible, because it helps kind of keep your feet on the ground, you know.
But what is that like, trying to keep it normal, and then you go out? I'm sure people are like, Adam Lambert.
Depends on where, you know. I mean, that's the one thing about LA is, you know, there's certain places you can kind of go where people don't really care.
Right.
There's certain places in LA I can go where I'm not famous enough to have them to have them really care. They're like, oh yeah, you were on that show a couple years ago. Great. So, yeah.
What are your thoughts on the It Gets Better movement, and what's your involvement, if any?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wanted to contribute a video to the cause a while back. I did that online. I think any youth organization that gives kids a safe haven and an outlet to talk, to express themselves, and to meet other people like them, I think is very, very important, no matter where you are.
Right.
You know, I think honestly, you know, you got to make the most out of every situation. And if you're in a hard situation, you got to find the silver lining somehow. And sometimes it's difficult. So I think organizations like that really help kind of remind people that it's okay, you're not alone.
Well, your
just chill, you're going to be fine, you know.
Your contribution definitely appreciated.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great
pleasure.
message.
Yeah.
So obviously Dallas loves him some Adam. What does Adam love about Dallas?
I just went shopping. What was that store called? It was
4510.
4510. Have you guys heard of that store? Nice place. I liked it.
A lot of shopping to do
Yeah,
here.
I bought a shirt and I smelled some candles.
All right, we're going to wrap with the quick five. What's the best meal you can cook? You talked about being a little more domestic at home now.
It's not that I cook well, because I don't know about that. I mean, I make a mean breakfast scramble, which is not really anything technical. It's like throw it all in the pan, you know. Scramble it up and
Done.
Juice. I make juice.
All right, what's your favorite beauty or grooming product?
Moroccan oil. It smells so good for your hair. It smells so good. It's like bathing your hair in Tahitian sunshine. I don't know.
Great.
It smells coconut nut kind of, and it makes your hair kind of soft, like a beauty supply. I don't know, hair place. Yeah, it's nice. It makes your hair shiny and conditioned. I should get an endorsement deal.
If you could invite two famous people, dead or alive, to a dinner party, who would it be?
Freddie Mercury. Would have loved to have met him, and Michael Jackson.
Very cool.
That would be quite a dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it wasn't music, what would you be doing today, do you think?
I'm a pretty visual person. I'd probably be in some sort of design field. I could, you know, whether it be like interiors or fashion or something. And then if I didn't go into that, if I wanted to actually make money, I probably would have gone into like psychology or therapy, like, you know, become like a social worker or a therapist or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
And final one, what is the best sound effect you can make?
I don't know.
We've all got
I don't have one. I can make any sound effect you throw at me, put it that way.
Daffy Duck.
No. I mean, when I can imitate anything. So if you throw it at
want
me
me to go first.
Yeah.
I'm out.
I'm not good at I don't think I can do it like every impression. I'm not that good. But if you make a noise, I can usually like echo it.
Yeah, I've never had that turned back on me.
That's how I
And
roll.
I'm bright red right now. Well, thank you again for coming out, and
Yeah.
we're looking forward to the album in April.
Yeah, the album, and I'm really excited for people to hear the album because it's very different than the last album. There's definitely my brand of kind of over the top, kind of, you know, campiness, but it's done in a different way on this album. The first half of the album is all upbeat, really fun, kind of funk, disco, electro dance, rock,
Nice.
hybrid, everything. Really groovy shit. Sorry. That's the sound effect I can make. Really groovy. Boop. And then the second half of the album, the back half, is much darker. It's a lot angstier. It's exploring things that are kind of hard to talk about, things that aren't so easy to deal with in life. And I think that they reflect a lot of people's struggles. So, yeah.
Well, continued success.
Thank you.
Thank you so much
Thank you
for
so
coming
much.
out.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Adam Lambert!
Yeah.